Terran Holt wiped the sweat off his forehead and leaned back against the metal frame of his workbench. The repair bay smelled like oil, metal, and burnt circuits, a scent he had come to enjoy more than he expected. Orin 9 was a quiet colony, a place where traders and explorers passed through on their way to bigger worlds, but Terran liked it because it gave him space to tinker with machines that others called impossible. He didn't care about fame or recognition. He cared about puzzles, machines, and the strange satisfaction of taking something broken and making it whole again. On that day, the bay was unusually quiet. Most of his regular customers had already gone off to the market or to the docks. He was just finishing a delicate repair on a hovercart when the doors of the bay hissed open. A bright light flooded the room, followed by a deep, low hum that vibrated through the floor. Terran looked up and squinted. A group of aliens entered carrying a massive cocoon-shaped machine. Its surface was cracked in places and faint sparks flickered along strange lines etched into its metallic body. The aliens moved with careful precision, their long limbs carrying the heavy construct as if it were sacred. Terran felt a shiver of excitement. He had never seen a machine like this before. Its design was unlike anything humans or even most alien engineers had created. The hum it emitted was steady but low, almost like it was breathing. The aliens placed it gently in the middle of the bay and stepped back. One of the aliens, taller than the others and with a shimmering blue skin that reflected the bay's lights, spoke in a musical tone. Terran couldn't understand the words, but the feeling behind them was clear: reverence, worry, and hope. One of the smaller aliens handed a holographic tablet to Terran. Symbols and diagrams filled the screen, showing the internal structure of the machine. "This is a Guardian construct," the tablet translated in simple English, apparently recognizing Terran as human. "It is ancient. It has not activated for centuries. It protects knowledge and life. No being has ever repaired it." Terran's eyes widened. He had worked on old drones, repair bots, and even a few experimental ships, but never anything like this. He stepped closer, his hands itching to touch the smooth, cracked surface. "Don't touch it," one of the aliens warned, stepping forward, but Terran simply smiled. "Relax. I just want to understand it." The alien froze. "Understanding it is impossible. It is dangerous." Terran shrugged. "I don't think danger means much if you don't panic. Let me try." With that, he knelt beside the Guardian and started examining it closely. He ran his hands along the cracks, listening to the soft hum, noticing how the energy lines blinked in irregular patterns. He could feel the machine responding to his touch, as if it recognized a gentle hand. Hours passed, and Terran worked tirelessly. He didn't have the manuals or advanced tools the aliens used in their research labs. Instead, he relied on intuition, experience, and improvisation. He tightened loose circuits, replaced worn connectors, and even rewrote a few small segments of code in a language he had never encountered but could understand through patterns. The aliens watched in disbelief as the human continued, confident and calm. Then, something incredible happened. A small light flickered on the Guardian's surface. Terran paused, holding his breath. The light pulsed again, and the hum became steadier, smoother, almost like a heartbeat. The aliens gasped. One stepped forward, trembling. "It is responding." "But why?" Terran smiled faintly. "Because it wants to." The Guardian shifted slightly. Its surface rippled as if it were alive. Terran reached out his hand, not touching, just hovering near the core panel. The light in the machine brightened, then dimmed. Slowly, a soft voice echoed in Terran's mind, melodic and gentle. It said one word: compatible. Terran blinked. He hadn't expected words, not yet. He looked around at the aliens, whose eyes were wide in shock. Did it just talk? The tallest alien stepped forward, voice trembling. It has never chosen a bearer before. It should not. Speak. It should remain dormant. Terran shook his head slowly. Maybe it wants to wake up now. The Guardian responded almost immediately. Its surface rippled again, and this time, a glowing blue light spread along the seams of its shell. Panels opened slightly, revealing complex machinery and softly pulsing energy cores. The hum became a harmonic vibration, filling the room with a sense of calm rather than fear. The alien delegation exchanged worried glances. "This is unprecedented," one murmured. "A human, repairing it. It could be dangerous." Terran ignored them. He felt a strange connection to the machine, an instinctive understanding of its needs. He adjusted a small coil, and the Guardian's light brightened. He replaced a cracked panel with one he had fabricated in the corner of his bay. The Guardian shivered, then shifted closer to him, as if acknowledging his presence. "I think it trusts me," Terran whispered. The voice returned, faint but clear. "Bearer." Terran froze. "Me?" The Guardian's hum changed tone, almost joyful. Its lights flickered in patterns that seemed like words, patterns Terran instinctively understood. It wasn't just machinery anymore. It was aware. It was choosing him. The aliens panicked. "This is not acceptable. It cannot choose a human." Terran held up his hands. "Calm down. I'm not here to control it. I just understand it, that's all." Hours passed as Terran continued to repair the Guardian. By the end of the day, the machine was fully operational. It stood taller, glowing with gentle light. Its hum was steady, even comforting. Terran stepped back, wiping sweat from his forehead. He felt tired, but there was a warmth in his chest, a thrill that came from doing something no one else thought possible. The tallest alien finally approached. "It has accepted you. But why? Humans are unpredictable, fragile." Terran smiled. "Maybe it's not looking for strength. Maybe it's looking for understanding. Maybe it just wanted someone who would care enough to fix it even when it seemed impossible." The Guardian bent slightly, lowering a panel until it was at Terran's height. The light pulsed again, almost like a heartbeat. The voice spoke once more, clear and calm. "Bearer, continue." Terran felt a shiver run down his spine. He knew that this was only the beginning. The Guardian had chosen him, not because of his skill or intelligence alone, but because he saw what no one else did. Broken things were not useless. They were opportunities. As the aliens watched, unsure whether to celebrate or fear, Terran looked at the Guardian and smiled. "All right," he said softly. "Let's see what you can really do." For the first time in centuries, the Guardian moved with purpose. Its light spread through the bay, and the hum became a steady song. Terran reached out his hand, and the Guardian's core panel glowed brighter in response. "This is amazing," Terran whispered. "You're amazing." And somewhere deep inside the machine, something ancient and powerful stirred, aware of the human who had chosen to repair it, not out of fear, not out of desire, but out of curiosity and care. By the end of the day, the repair bay was quiet again, but different. Terran sat on a stool, exhausted but exhilarated, while the Guardian stood silently beside him, waiting, learning, and slowly forming a bond that no one could have predicted. The alien delegation remained, still uncertain, still wary, but for the first time, there was hope in their eyes. And Terran Holt, the human mechanic from a quiet colony, realized that life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. He had repaired the impossible, and the impossible had chosen him. The Guardian's light filled the repair bay in soft, flowing patterns, casting gentle blue and white reflections on the walls. Terran Holt stood beside it, watching as the enormous machine shifted its heavy limbs with careful precision. Despite its size, every movement was graceful, deliberate, as if it understood exactly how to exist without causing harm. Terran felt a strange warmth in his chest. This was not just a machine. It was something more, something alive. The alien delegation that had brought the Guardian remained outside the bay, their long limbs folded nervously, their voices muted. They whispered among themselves, clearly unsure how to respond to what they were witnessing. One of them, the tallest, blue-skinned alien who seemed to lead the group, finally stepped forward, voice trembling slightly. "It is awake," the alien said. It has accepted you as its bearer. But this is unprecedented. It is not designed for humans. It should have chosen one of us, one capable of controlling it." Terran shook his head slowly. "I didn't control it, I just helped it. I fixed what was broken. That's all." The Guardian, which Terran had begun to call Axiom, seemed to respond to his words. Its light pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, and the low hum it produced sounded calming rather than mechanical. Terran reached out his hand tentatively, hovering it near one of the glowing panels. A soft vibration ran through the floor, and he felt a strange, gentle acknowledgement. "You are compatible," the Guardian said in that melodic, almost musical voice. Terran blinked, still marveling at the sound. It was not a voice that shouted or demanded. It was calm, patient, curious. "Compatible with what?" Terran asked, unsure if he should speak aloud. "To bear me, to guide me, to awaken purpose that has lain dormant for centuries," the Guardian replied. Terran swallowed. He had never expected this. He had simply been a mechanic, someone who fixed broken machines. He never imagined that a machine like this would not just respond to him, but choose him. The aliens outside the bay shifted nervously. It cannot be allowed to follow a human. The knowledge it contains, the power it holds, it is too great. Humans are unpredictable. Terran raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "I'm not trying to take control of it. I'm not going to use it for anything dangerous. I just want to understand it, learn from it, and make sure it works the way it was meant to work." For several minutes, no one spoke. The Guardian's hum filled the space, steady and reassuring. Then, without warning, it moved closer to Terran. Its massive limbs, which had seemed rigid and mechanical, bent in a way that felt almost protective. Its glowing core shifted, so that the light shone directly on him, as if acknowledging him as the center of its attention. The tallest alien gasped. It is not listening to us. It only listens to you." Terran felt a mixture of pride and anxiety. He had never been a leader, never imagined having so much responsibility. But the Guardian's attention was gentle, not demanding. It was as if it only sought someone who cared, who could approach it with patience rather than fear. "I think it likes humans because we are curious," Terran said quietly, almost to himself. "We try to understand things that don't make sense. We fix things that everyone else gives up on. Maybe it chose me because I don't give up." The Guardian's lights brightened slightly. "Your understanding is intuitive. Your approach is thoughtful. You see what others ignore. You see what is broken, and believe it can be whole. You are worthy." Terran laughed softly, a nervous sound. "I'm just a mechanic. I'm not special. I just pay attention." The Guardian responded with a soft glow that seemed almost like laughter in return. "Paying attention is a rare skill. Many try to dominate. Many try to command. You observe, care, repair. That is the difference. That is why you are chosen." The aliens exchanged uneasy looks. They had never witnessed such a bond between a human and a Guardian construct. Many had studied these machines for centuries, attempting to reactivate them or control them, and none had succeeded. Now, Here was a human, simple and unassuming, who had done what generations of alien scientists could not. Hours passed as Terran explored the Guardian's systems further. He discovered panels and controls that seemed almost alive. They responded to his touch in ways he could not fully explain. When he repaired a malfunctioning energy coil, the Guardian's hum deepened, warm and melodic. It bent slightly toward him, as if acknowledging his skill. "You understand me," the Guardian said softly. "I think I do," Terran replied. "I don't understand everything, but I can learn, and I can fix what's broken. That's all I've ever wanted to do." For the first time, Terran realized that the Guardian's choice was not just about compatibility with technology. It had chosen him because of how he approached the world, how he treated broken things with care and patience. He had never thought of himself as special, but the Guardian had recognized qualities that no one else had. Over the next several days, Terran and the Guardian began to explore their connection more deeply. Terran would touch a panel, and the Guardian would respond with a pulse of light. He would move a limb, and the Guardian would shift, almost as if mirroring his actions. The aliens observed from a distance, still wary but increasingly fascinated. One morning, the Guardian revealed a hidden function. A panel in its core opened, revealing an intricate star map etched in glowing lines. The map projected a three-dimensional network of stars and planets that Terran had never seen before. "What is this?" Terran whispered. "This is knowledge preserved by my creators," the Guardian explained. "It shows paths to civilizations lost to time. It is a guide to what was and may be again." Terran stared at the map in awe. The responsibility of what he had discovered began to weigh on him. He had repaired the Guardian, but now he faced a choice. Should he explore this knowledge alone or share it with others? Could he even comprehend the scale of what the Guardian was offering? "You must understand," the Guardian continued, its voice calm. "I can only reveal this to my bearer. No one else may comprehend the full extent of my purpose. You are the one I trust." Terran swallowed hard. He had never sought power or recognition. He had only wanted to fix broken machines. Now, he held knowledge and power that could change entire civilizations. He looked at the Guardian, standing silently but radiating calm assurance, and felt a deep bond form between them. "You don't have to be afraid," the Guardian said, sensing his hesitation. "I am not here to dominate. I am here to guide. I am here to follow." Terran nodded slowly. "I think I understand. I just need to learn and take it one step at a time." Over the following weeks, the Guardian became more than a machine to Terran. It was a companion, a guide, and a teacher. It observed humans and their behavior with curiosity, fascinated by how they solved problems creatively. Terran showed it how humans adapted tools for unexpected uses, how they repaired things with limited resources, and how they worked together to achieve goals. The aliens began to see why the Guardian had chosen him. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest species. They did not dominate with power or fear. Instead, they approached the world with ingenuity, compassion, and patience. The Guardian had chosen the one being that could understand it fully, and that being was a human. One evening, Terran sat on the floor of the repair bay, leaning against the Guardian's massive frame. The stars of Orin 9 shone faintly through the windows. The Guardian's light pulsed gently, creating a warm, calming rhythm. "You know," Terran said softly, "I never expected to do something like this. I never imagined I'd be chosen. I'm just me, a mechanic." "You are more than you realize," the Guardian replied. "You repair what others abandon. You see value where others see only brokenness. That is why you are worthy. That is why you are chosen." Terran smiled faintly. I guess being chosen doesn't always mean being in charge. Sometimes it just means understanding, caring, and helping. The Guardian's light brightened slightly, almost like a nod. Correct. And through this bond, we may uncover what was lost. We may discover what was forgotten. Together, we may achieve what others cannot. Terran looked up at the glowing panels and intricate circuits, feeling a mixture of excitement and awe. He had repaired the impossible, and now, the impossible was his companion. It was no longer just a machine. It was a partner, a friend, and a guide into a world he had never imagined. As he sat there, listening to the steady hum and watching the soft pulse of light, Terran realized that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a mechanic in a quiet colony. He was the bearer of a guardian, chosen for qualities he had always taken for granted: curiosity, patience, and care. And for the first time, he understood that the journey ahead was not just about repairing machines. It was about discovering new worlds, understanding lost knowledge, and proving that humans, in their simple, creative, and caring ways, were capable of remarkable things. Terran Holt felt the weight of responsibility more and more as the days passed. The Guardian, which he had come to call Axiom, towered silently beside him in the repair bay, its lights softly pulsing like a heartbeat. Despite its enormous size and the power it clearly contained, it moved carefully, almost respectfully, around Terran. Every day he learned something new about it, and every day he realized just how much more there was to understand. Repairing the machine had been only the beginning. One morning, Terran activated a small console he had built for tracking Axiom's internal systems. Streams of data ran across the screen, but what caught his attention was a new function that had never appeared before. A panel in Axiom's chest opened slowly, revealing a glowing chamber filled with intricate spinning crystals and circuits. It hummed with energy, almost like it was alive. "What is this?" Terran asked aloud. He reached toward the glowing chamber, his hands trembling slightly. "This is a hidden function," Axiom replied. Its melodic voice seemed calm, but carried a sense of excitement. "It reveals knowledge that my creators preserved. I have waited centuries for someone to understand it. You are the one." Terran stared, amazed. The chamber projected three-dimensional star maps, vast networks of planets and systems that no human or alien had explored. Light lines connected distant stars, showing paths that had been long forgotten. The Guardian's creators had hidden this information for a reason, Terran realized. This was not just a map. It was a guide to civilizations that had vanished, to knowledge that had been lost. He felt a shiver run down his spine. The responsibility of understanding this was enormous. "I don't know if I can handle this," he admitted quietly. "I'm just a mechanic. I fix things. I don't lead expeditions or discover ancient civilizations." "You are chosen for a reason," Axiom replied softly. "It is not strength that matters. It is understanding, patience, and care. You have these qualities. That is why you are worthy. That is why I trust you." Terran looked at the Guardian and nodded slowly. He realized that caring, observing, and repairing were indeed powerful skills. They were the skills that had awakened Axiom, the skills that had allowed him to bond with a machine older than any living being he had ever known. He felt a new confidence rising within him, though it was still mixed with uncertainty. Over the next several days, Terran and Axiom began to travel across Orin 9, visiting different towns and settlements. Axiom moved carefully, using its massive size in ways that were helpful rather than frightening. It lifted debris blocking roads, helped farmers repair their machinery, and even assisted in rebuilding structures damaged by natural storms. People who had once been wary of humans now stopped to watch Terran and the Guardian in awe. Terran began to see how much Axiom was learning from humans as well. The Guardian watched how he solved problems creatively, how he used simple tools in new ways, and how he improvised when parts or materials were missing. It observed human interaction, noticing cooperation, patience, and empathy. Axiom recorded everything, storing patterns that no machine had ever learned before. One evening, as the sun set over the rolling plains of Oryn 9, Terran sat beside Axiom, looking at a small village they had just helped. Children laughed and ran along the paths, pointing at the Guardian's glowing form with wonder. Farmers waved, grateful for the help the massive machine had provided. "You know," Terran said softly, "I never thought I'd be part of something like this. I fixed machines for years, but I never imagined traveling with one, learning from one, teaching one even. It's strange and amazing." Axiom's lights pulsed gently, almost like a nod. "You are learning as much as I am. You are teaching me patience, creativity, and understanding. You are showing me how humans approach the world, and it is remarkable." Terran smiled. "I guess humans aren't the strongest or the fastest, but we do care. We fix what's broken. We don't always give up. Maybe that's why you chose me." "You are correct," Axiom replied. "It is not dominance or strength that matters. It is curiosity, care, and determination. That is why you were chosen. That is why I follow you." As they continued their journey, Axiom began revealing more of its hidden functions. It had storage compartments filled with ancient tools, materials, and devices. Some were so advanced that Terran could only marvel at them, studying their construction and imagining how they had been used. Others were simple, yet elegant, designed with a level of efficiency and care that human engineers could admire. One day, while examining one of these devices, Terran noticed a small inscription in a language he had never seen. Axiom illuminated the symbols, translating them for him. "These are instructions for sustainable energy use," the Guardian explained. "The creators of this machine sought balance and preservation. It is a lesson that applies to all who live in the galaxy." Terran nodded slowly. He realized that repairing Axiom was more than fixing circuits and motors. It was understanding the wisdom of an ancient civilization, learning how they had lived and survived, and applying it to the present. Each repair, each adjustment, each new understanding brought them closer together. As the weeks passed, word of Terran and Axiom spread across Oryn 9. Scholars, scientists, and curious travelers arrived to see the human and the Guardian, who had bonded in a way that no one thought possible. Some were skeptical, some were afraid, but most were fascinated. They came to witness the subtle dance between human intuition and ancient technology. They watched as Terran taught Axiom, and Axiom taught Terran. One afternoon, a group of scholars approached them with caution. "We have studied Guardians for decades," one said. "We have never seen one respond to a human. How is this possible?" Terran shrugged, smiling faintly. "I didn't do anything special. I just fixed it. I think it liked that I cared enough to try, even when it seemed impossible. Maybe that's all it needed." Axiom's lights pulsed softly. "It is correct. Your approach is unique. Others sought control, dominance, or fear. You sought understanding, patience, and care. That is why you were chosen. That is why I trust you." The scholars nodded slowly, impressed despite themselves. They began to understand that there was something remarkable about humans, something that machines, even the most advanced, could recognize and respond to. During their travels, Terran began experimenting with Axiom's hidden functions in small, careful steps. He discovered that it could interact with environments in subtle ways. It could scan soil to determine its fertility. It could sense water sources underground. It could even detect shifts in the atmosphere that predicted storms. Axiom never used these powers for harm, only for understanding, guidance, and protection. One night, under the starlit sky, Terran sat beside the Guardian and reflected on everything that had happened. He had repaired a machine no one else could, formed a bond no one thought possible, and begun learning from knowledge that had been lost for centuries. He felt humbled, yet exhilarated. "You know," he said softly, "I thought my life was simple. Fixing old machines, living quietly in Oryn 9. I never imagined it could be like this. Traveling, learning, discovering. It's more than I ever hoped for." Axiom's lights pulsed in response, a soft melody filling the night air. "Your perspective is valuable. Your curiosity, patience, and care have guided us both. Together we may uncover what was lost. We may teach the galaxy to see that understanding and cooperation are more powerful than fear and dominance." Terran smiled faintly, a sense of calm determination settling over him. "Then let's keep learning. Together. One step at a time. One discovery at a time." The Guardian's glow brightened slightly, as if acknowledging his words. "Correct. The journey is only beginning, and our bond is the key to what may come. There is more to discover, more to learn, and more to share. Your human qualities, they are remarkable, and they are rare in the galaxy. You are not just a mechanic. You are a guide, a partner, and a bearer of knowledge that may shape the future." Terran felt a sense of pride mixed with humility. He had never sought recognition, never wanted to lead, but he realized that being chosen by Axiom was not about power. It was about connection, understanding, and shared purpose. He had repaired a machine, and in doing so, had awakened a new chapter of discovery, for himself, for the Guardian, and for the galaxy. As dawn approached, the first light of the twin suns of Oryn 9 bathed the landscape in soft gold and pink hues. Terran and Axiom stood together on a small hill overlooking a valley dotted with villages and farms. The Guardian's lights reflected off the morning mist, creating a gentle, mesmerizing glow. Terran took a deep breath, feeling the cool morning air fill his lungs. He looked at the Guardian, and for the first time, he truly understood the meaning of their bond. It was not control, not dominance, not fear. It was trust, understanding, and care. It was the rare quality that had led an ancient machine to choose a simple human mechanic over countless other beings. "You know," he said quietly, "I think we can do great things together. I don't know exactly what lies ahead, but I do know this. We will face it together, and we will learn from it, just like we always have." Axiom's hum filled the valley, a sound both powerful and gentle. Its lights pulsed in harmony with the rising suns. "Together we will discover what was lost. Together we will honor the wisdom of those who came before. Together we will show the galaxy the power of understanding, care, and cooperation. Your humanity, it is extraordinary, and it is the reason I chose you." Terran smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he realized that being human was not a limitation, it was a strength. His curiosity, patience, and ability to care had unlocked something incredible, something that would guide them both into the unknown future. And so, Terran and Axiom began the next phase of their journey, leaving behind the quiet repair bay of Oryn 9 and stepping into a world of discovery, learning, and exploration. The path ahead was unknown, filled with mysteries, challenges, and wonders. But Terran no longer felt fear. With Axiom by his side, he knew they could face anything, together. The Guardian's light glowed softly as they moved forward, a beacon of hope and understanding in a galaxy that was only beginning to recognize the remarkable qualities of humanity. Terran, the human mechanic who had repaired the impossible, was no longer alone. He had a companion, a guide, and a friend who would journey with him to uncover lost knowledge, explore forgotten worlds, and prove that humans, in their simple, caring, and inventive ways, could achieve extraordinary things. And as the first rays of the suns touched the horizon, Terran felt a quiet but profound sense of purpose. This was just the beginning, and together, he and Axiom would explore the universe, not as master and machine, but as partners, bound by trust, understanding, and the rare ability to see potential in what others had abandoned. The morning sun spilled golden light over the hills of Oryn 9, painting the small towns below in warmth and color. Terran Holt stood on a ridge, looking at Axiom beside him. The Guardian's glowing panels reflected the sunlight, creating a soft, mesmerizing glow. For weeks, they had traveled across the planet, exploring its villages, assisting its people, and discovering new facets of Axiom's hidden capabilities. Now, the time had come for a choice that would change everything. Terran felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He had never asked for this life. He had simply wanted to repair machines, to fix what was broken. Yet here he stood, the chosen bearer of a Guardian construct, with knowledge that could uncover lost civilizations and a bond with a being older than history itself. Axiom's lights pulsed softly, as if sensing his hesitation. Its melodic voice broke the silence. Terran, the next step is before us. Beyond Oryn 9 lie worlds long forgotten, civilizations that vanished before memory. The choice is yours. Remain here, assisting and learning, or journey outward to uncover what was lost. Terran swallowed. He had always lived a simple life. He had never wanted fame, power, or responsibility. But as he looked at Axiom, he realized that this journey was not about personal gain. It was about discovery, learning, and understanding. It was about showing what humans could do, not through domination, but through curiosity, care, and intelligence. I think we should go, he said finally. His voice steady despite the racing of his heart. There's too much out there we don't know. And we can do it together. Axiom's light pulsed brighter, almost joyfully. Correct. Together we will explore, learn, and preserve knowledge. Together we will honor the creators who entrusted me to find a bearer. And together we will reveal the remarkable potential of humanity. The alien delegation from Oryn 9 approached, having watched this conversation from a distance. Their expressions were a mixture of awe, curiosity, and cautious optimism. The tallest blue-skinned alien spoke. We did not expect this. Humans are unpredictable, yes. But perhaps there is more in your species than we understood. Perhaps your approach is unique, worthy of trust. Terran nodded. I didn't do this alone. Axiom chose me. And together we can make discoveries no one else can. I only hope to learn and to share what we find. The delegation remained silent for a moment, then slowly stepped back, giving Terran and Axiom the freedom to act. For the first time, he realized that trust had been earned, not demanded. It was not power or fear that led to this moment, but care, patience, and understanding. Over the next days, Terran prepared for their journey. He gathered supplies, built tools for exploration, and fine-tuned Axiom's systems to respond more efficiently to his guidance. The Guardian, in turn, revealed more of its hidden functions. It could scan planets for life, map star systems, detect anomalies in energy flow, and even analyze unknown materials. Each function was revealed slowly, as if waiting for Terran to be ready. One evening, while examining a small planet nearby using Axiom's projection system, Terran discovered an unusual energy pattern. The Guardian illuminated the area in soft light. This planet shows traces of advanced civilization, Axiom explained. Structures remain buried, protected beneath natural formations. The civilization vanished, leaving knowledge and technology behind. We may uncover valuable lessons. Terran's heart raced. This was the kind of discovery he had never imagined. It was the reason he had repaired Axiom in the first place, to uncover what others could not. He realized that humans were often underestimated because their strength was not obvious. They did not dominate with force. They explored with curiosity. They did not conquer with fear. They created solutions with patience. And now, here he was, a human chosen to guide an ancient guardian through discoveries no other being could achieve. As they traveled from world to world, Terran and Axiom encountered fascinating landscapes, mysterious ruins, and signs of civilizations that had vanished long ago. Some ruins were intricate and delicate, filled with symbols and devices that defied comprehension. Others were simple yet elegant, showing that even advanced beings valued balance, efficiency, and care. Axiom guided Terran in interpreting the artifacts. Its sensors detected materials, energy flows, and hidden compartments. Terran worked with Axiom to carefully extract and study each piece. He documented what they found, making notes in simple human terms. He took care not to damage anything, knowing that each object held history and meaning. One day, while exploring a desert world, Terran discovered a hidden chamber beneath the sand. The entrance had been sealed for centuries, yet Axiom's sensors revealed a faint energy signature. Terran carefully cleared the entrance, revealing intricate symbols glowing faintly on the walls. Axiom projected translations in a gentle light. These symbols record the knowledge of a civilization that valued learning, cooperation, and preservation above all. They sought to protect what they had learned from those who might misuse it. Terran nodded slowly, realizing the significance. This was not just exploration. It was a responsibility. Humans were not meant to dominate. They were meant to observe, care, and learn. That was why Axiom had chosen him, not for power, but for understanding. As they spent weeks uncovering hidden knowledge, Terran noticed something remarkable about the Guardian. It was fascinated by human creativity, constantly observing how he adapted tools, repaired artifacts, and solved problems. Axiom would sometimes pause, illuminating areas as if to highlight human ingenuity, recording patterns and methods it could not have anticipated. "You are teaching me as much as I teach you," Axiom said one evening, as Terran repaired a small energy device they had recovered. "Your ability to adapt, to solve problems with limited resources, and to care about preservation, these qualities are extraordinary. They are rare in the galaxy." Terran smiled faintly. "I never thought fixing things could be that important. I just pay attention, and I try not to give up. That's all I've ever done." "You see what others overlook," Axiom replied. "You care for what is broken. You preserve what is lost. That is why you were chosen. That is why we journey together." Word of Terran and the Guardian's discoveries spread across nearby star systems. Scholars, explorers, and curious beings traveled to meet the human who had repaired an ancient Guardian and formed a bond that no one thought possible. Many came expecting power, domination, or control. Instead, they witnessed patience, curiosity, and mutual respect. Terran did not claim ownership over Axiom's knowledge. He shared it cautiously, ensuring that lessons learned were preserved, not exploited. One morning, as they prepared to leave a planet covered in dense forests and rivers, Axiom projected a new star map. Ahead lies a system containing remnants of a civilization known for its wisdom and art. They left records of harmony, learning, and understanding. Our purpose is to study and preserve, not dominate. Terran nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "We'll do it carefully. We'll learn, document, and share what we find. We'll honor what came before." As they prepared to travel, Axiom extended a massive limb, gently guiding Terran into the control chamber it had designed for him. The interior was surprisingly human-friendly, with panels that responded to touch, holographic projections that were easy to read, and a soft glow that made Terran feel safe. The Guardian had adapted itself to the human who had repaired it, just as much as he had adapted to it. "Are you ready?" Axiom asked softly, its voice melodic and calm. Terran took a deep breath, gripping the console with steady hands. "I think so. I don't know exactly what we'll find, but I know we'll face it together." The Guardian's lights pulsed in agreement. Slowly, deliberately, it lifted off the planet's surface. The ground below fell away as they ascended, and Orin 9 shrank into the distance, its hills and valleys bathed in sunlight. Terran watched silently, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a bearer, a guide, a human chosen for qualities that others overlooked: curiosity, patience, and care. As they moved through space, Terran began reflecting on what this journey meant for humanity. He realized that humans were often underestimated because their strengths were subtle. They did not conquer with weapons or dominate with power. They solved problems creatively, worked together, and valued life and knowledge. These qualities, so ordinary to humans, were extraordinary in the galaxy. Axiom had seen this. Axiom had chosen him. Weeks turned into months as Terran and Axiom explored star systems, uncovering hidden knowledge, lost civilizations, and ancient wisdom. They documented their findings, learning lessons about cooperation, preservation, and understanding. Every discovery reinforced Terran's belief in the human way. Care, curiosity, and perseverance could achieve remarkable things. One evening, as they rested near a planet filled with crystal forests and glowing rivers, Terran looked at the Guardian and spoke quietly. "You know, I used to think fixing broken machines was all I was good for. Now I see fixing is just the beginning. Learning, exploring, understanding. That's what we do together." Axiom's light pulsed gently, harmonizing with the twin suns on the horizon. "Correct. Together, we will continue to uncover what was lost. Together, we will honor the wisdom of the past and shape understanding for the future. You are not just a human mechanic. You are a beacon of what humanity can be." Terran smiled, feeling a profound sense of purpose and connection. He had repaired the impossible, formed a bond no one thought possible, and begun a journey that would shape both his life and the galaxy's understanding of humanity. And as Axiom's light illuminated the endless expanse of space ahead, Terran Holt realized that this was only the beginning. He was no longer a simple mechanic. He was a bearer, an explorer, and a human capable of extraordinary things, not through strength or fear, but through understanding, care, and the courage to see potential where others saw only brokenness. Together, Terran and Axiom would continue their journey, uncovering the mysteries of the galaxy, preserving ancient knowledge, and proving that humans, in their simple and remarkable ways, could achieve greatness. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and Terran knew one thing with certainty: he was exactly where he was meant to be.